There is a lot of great smartphone cameras out there, guys, but today I'm looking at what might be the best one yet. I'm not talking about the Samsung Galaxy S8, I'm definitely not talking about the OnePlus 5, and I'm not even talking about the iPhone 7. I'm looking at the HTC U11 today, aka the squeeze phone that you guys might have heard about, but this is supposed to be the best smartphone camera yet. Let's open it up, take off the plastic. HTC U11, come out. Ooh, what color? I forgot what color. It's the blue one! Sapphire blue, I think it's called. Whoa! Oh my god. That's crazy. Oh my god, it warps my face too. I was gonna say I could use it as a mirror, but that's not really an effective mirror. It's more like a Snapchat filter on the back of your phone. I mean, that's the shiniest phone that there is. Let's take some pictures now.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
So let's take a quick indoor selfie and see how it does right off the bat. Fix the hair and smile. Cheeks. Now let's do the S8. All right, one more left. iPhone 7 Plus, the nice close-up selfie. Alright, now that I got a chance to put these photos side by side, looking at the HTC U11, first thing I notice is it's a pretty soft photo compared to the other two, and I took a couple photos and they all look like this. It's definitely not bad at all though, and I think I like it more than the iPhone's close-up photo, but the U11 is very close to the Galaxy's, except the Galaxy is much clearer. Okay, so now let's do some outdoor photos, and I thought this would be a good shot to see how well the phones can handle dark areas and bright areas together, because I'm standing in the shadows with a bright sky behind me, and I think they all do a great job, but the Galaxy kind of crushes those dark areas, which I don't really like too much. The iPhone has some duller colors with that more faded and natural look, but this kind of all comes down to preference. And the HTC U11 actually does a really nice job. Beautiful colors, everything's properly exposed. I mean, it might actually be my favorite here. Here's a similar example where, once again, the iPhone's colors look so bland compared to the other two, but that definitely makes it for a more realistic looking photo instead of eye-catching. The Galaxy kind of has cooler colors to it. Overall, the whole picture looks a little bluer than the rest, which I think looks pretty nice. And I am pretty impressed so far with the HTC U11's camera. It definitely is holding up pretty well against these guys, and it's pretty crazy too when you think about how bad older HTC cameras were. Okay, so here's a shot as the sun was setting a bit more. The iPhone once again looks a little more faded than the others. It's also the darkest, but because of this you do get to see more colors in that beautiful sky. The HTC U11 is actually the brightest, so you don't get to see that beautiful sunset as much, but the main subject, the fountain, is nice and bright, which I do like, and the Galaxy is kinda in between the iPhone and the HTC. It's got a really crazy HDR mode, but once again, those dark areas seem extra dark with the Galaxy, but it actually doesn't hurt the photo this time. So it's up to you guys to pick your favorite. Let me know in the comments below. I mean, there is a lot of examples here where all three photos look pretty much the same as each other, and once again, all three look really good here. It's kind of hard because in outdoor photos you kind of have to take a magnifying glass to notice the differences. It's in low light where things will start to get a little interesting. But anyway, if we zoom in here, you can see the darker shadows this time on the HTC U11. And I believe the HTC U11 is actually the sharpest of the bunch here. I think overall in this shot, it might be my favorite just by a hair. There is one thing worth mentioning though, and that is that the iPhone 7 Plus is the only phone here that has two camera lenses, so you can do some cool things with it. Okay, before we get into it, look how crazy warm the Galaxy's photo is. That definitely doesn't look very good. On the iPhone, we can use a second camera lens to optically zoom in 2 times, which creates a clearer photo. So for reference, if we wanted to zoom in 2 times with the U11 and the Galaxy, it would be by digitally stretching the photo. So not only would the quality not be as sharp, but you don't have that same effect with the background. And also, while we're here, we can trigger the iPhone 7 Plus's big camera feature, portrait mode, which blurs the background for that cool DSLR look. And although it isn't perfect, it's much better than the Galaxy's pretty wonky selective focus mode. And unfortunately, the HTC U11 doesn't have any feature like this. So like I said, in outdoors it's kind of hard for any of these phones to take bad pictures. They all look good in their own ways, And it all comes down to personal preference, really, and how you're gonna end up using the photos. Do you like editing your photos, or do you like snapping the pic and being done? The iPhone is always gonna be the most natural looking with this faded tone. The Galaxy is gonna be very emphasized with vibrant colors, dark shadows, and sometimes crazy warm hues. And the HTC U11 is kind of right in the middle. It's always colorful, never too dark, always really sharp. Now before we get into the big changes with low light photos, let's try that selfie again since we're outdoors. And man, one thing I love about the U11 and the S8 is that wide angle lens they have. The iPhone has some really good quality. I mean, it's actually the sharpest photo here, but it's just way too close up. You can't see the background as much. You can't even see my pants. As for the S8 and U11, they're both so similar, but I gotta give it to the Galaxy S8 for being a little bit sharper. Okay, now let's move into low light, and that is where smartphone cameras usually struggle, and that is where we're gonna see the most differences. Now, first thing you probably notice is how dark the Galaxy S8's photo is. It's way too dark, and I tapped on the bottom of the tree on all three phones. Once again, you can see how natural the iPhone is with that faded look. The iPhone is really afraid of getting rid of darker areas, where the HTC U11 darkens them just enough, I think. I think overall, yeah, the HTC U11 is probably my favorite here in every way. Okay, so here we kind of see the exact same stuff. The three phones are really consistent in low light. The Galaxy is dark. I mean, it's not that bad. Still very sharp, has some nice colors, and has pretty much no noise. But compared to the others, the darkness does hurt it. The iPhone seems pretty bland due to its dull colors, but it still looks nice. But definitely not as eye-catching as the HTC U11 with its saturated colors and brightness. And now it's time for a good old-fashioned pop figure test in some crazy low light. I'm actually pretty surprised how bright these pictures are because they were in a very dark hallway. The brightness here actually looks nowhere close to what it really was. But anyway, the HTC's U11 awesome low light capabilities eventually find its cutoff point in extreme low light conditions. It's still trying really hard though to be the low light winner. I mean, it's definitely the brightest, but the colors aren't as nice as the iPhones or Galaxies, as well as the sharpness and noise. Okay, so switching over to the selfie camera with low light. Once again, they're all very impressive for such a dark area, but I think the worst one is probably the HTC U11, just because it's not very clear. There's a lot of noise. It kind of looks like the iPhone is the clearest, but I don't know if that's just because I'm bigger in the picture, thanks to that not so wide angle lens. So here, I'd probably pick the Galaxy S8.
So is the HTC U11 the best smartphone camera ever? Well, I mean, it's definitely not the worst. Depending on your preference, it may very well be the best one there because it takes great outdoor pictures, great low light pictures. The selfie camera is not the best, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.